If you're over 50 and you've noticed a hollow dip on the side of your hips, stop what you're doing because this video was made specifically for you. That dip is not just about how you look. It's not about vanity. And it's definitely not something you simply have to accept because of your age. Here's what nobody is telling you. For adults over 50, that hip dip is often a warning sign that a specific muscle, one that holds your entire pelvis stable every time you walk, stand, or climb stairs, is quietly shutting down. And when that muscle stops working the way it should, your risk of falls, knee pain, and lower back problems goes up significantly. The good news? You can fix this at home. No gym, no equipment, and in less time than you think, I'm going to show you 5 exercises, ranked from easiest to most powerful, that directly target the muscle causing that dip, and more importantly, bring your stability and strength back to where it needs to be. But before we get into it, exercise number 2 on this list is one that almost nobody over 50 is doing. It targets the hip in a way that single-direction exercises completely miss. And once you add it, you'll feel the difference within the first week. Now, before we get into the exercises, I want to hear from you. Drop your age and your location in the comments right now. I genuinely read through them, and I love knowing who I'm talking to. And if your goal is to feel stronger, more stable, and more confident when you move, type the word strong in the comments. That one word is a commitment to yourself, and that matters more than you know. Now let me tell you what's actually going on inside your body, because this part changes everything. When most people see a hip dip, they immediately think it's a bone structure issue, something permanent, something they were simply born with, or that came with age, and there's nothing to be done. But here's the thing. While your bone structure does play a small role, research tells us that muscle is the far bigger factor, specifically a muscle called the gluteus medius. The gluteus medius lives on the outer side of your hip. It's not the large muscle you sit on, that's the gluteus maximus. The medius is smaller, sits higher on the hip, and its job is incredibly important. It keeps your pelvis level every single time you take a step, every time you stand on one foot, every time you shift your weight from side to side. Here's what happens as we get older. A 2019 study published in PLOS One by researchers at the University of Kassel found that after midlife, we don't just lose muscle mass, we lose it unevenly. Hip stabilizer muscles, including the gluteus medius, showed a significantly more pronounced strength decline with age than the primary leg movers like the knee extensors, precisely because stabilizers tend to get used less during typical daily activity. And the gluteus medius is one of the most commonly underactive muscles in adults over 50, especially in people who spend significant time sitting. When the gluteus medius weakens, 2 things happen simultaneously. First, the outer hip loses the muscular volume that gives it that fuller, rounder shape. That's where the visual dip comes from. It's the absence of an engaged, well-developed muscle. Second, and this is the part that matters far more, your pelvis starts to become unstable during movement. Other muscles, including your lower back, your IT band, and your knees, pick up the slack. And over time, that compensation creates pain, stiffness, and reduced mobility in places that have nothing to do with your hips. Research published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy confirms that hip abductor weakness in exactly the muscles we're talking about today, is directly linked to reduced balance capacity and significantly higher fall risk in older adults. A separate longitudinal study tracking community-dwelling older adults found that a meaningful increase in hip abductor strength reduced the chance of a fall by over 86%. Let me say that again. Not just discomfort, not just appearance, fall risk. So when we strengthen these muscles, we're not just reshaping your hips. We're rebuilding the foundation that your entire body relies on every single day. And here's the most important part. These muscles respond. They haven't given up on you. They've just been waiting for the right signal. Today we're going to give them that signal. Exercise 5, glute bridge with knee press out. We're going to start on the floor, and we're going to begin gently, because the goal in the first exercise is not to fatigue the muscle. It's to find it. The glute bridge with knee press out is a combination movement that simultaneously activates the gluteus maximus from below and the gluteus medius from the side. Think of it as waking up 2 sleeping giants at once. How to do it safely. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. If you have a light resistance band, place it just above your knees, but this works just as well without one. Press your feet gently into the floor and lift your hips up until your body forms a straight diagonal line from your shoulders to your knees. Now, at the top of that bridge position, don't come down yet. Gently press your knees outward, Hold for 2 seconds, then bring them back to neutral. Lower your hips slowly. That's 1 full repetition. Aim for 10 to 12 slow controlled repetitions. What to watch for? The most common mistake here is rushing the bridge. People pop up fast and miss the hip engagement entirely. Instead, imagine you're peeling your spine off the mat 1 vertebra at a time. And at the top, really squeeze before you press those knees out. This exercise is your foundation. It rebuilds the connection between your brain and your glutes, something that prolonged inactivity and long periods of sitting genuinely disrupts over time. Clinicians call this gluteal inhibition, and it's well documented in rehabilitation research as one of the key reasons why targeted glute reactivation work matters so much for older adults. Exercise 4. Lateral leg slide, wall supported. This one is for people who want a standing option, something that trains the hip the way it actually gets used in real life. Stand beside a wall or sturdy chair and lightly rest one hand on it for balance. Stand tall, engage your core gently, and shift your weight onto your inner leg. Now, with your outer leg, slowly slide it outward along the floor, keeping your foot in contact with the ground, toes pointing forward. Go only as far as feels comfortable and controlled. Pause, then slide it back in with the same slow control. That's 1 repetition. Aim for 12 to 15 per side. Why this works? The sliding motion removes the impact and the balance challenge you'd find in a traditional standing abduction. This means your gluteus medius has to do the work without your other muscles jumping in to compensate. For older adults with balance concerns, physical therapists and rehabilitation specialists widely recommend wall or chair-supported exercises as a safe and effective starting point for hip stabilizer training, keeping the focus on the muscle, not on staying upright. Common mistake: leaning away from the working leg. If you catch yourself tilting, slow down. The power of this exercise is in the control, not the range. If you're still with us and finding this helpful, type number 4 in the comments so I know you're there. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Exercise 3. Elevated clamshell, the upgraded version. You may have heard of the clamshell before. This is the upgraded version, and the difference is significant. Lie on your side with your hips stacked and your knees bent. But instead of lying completely flat, take a small folded towel or pillow and place it under your waist, just enough to lift your side slightly off the floor. This small adjustment changes the angle of the gluteus medius entirely and forces deeper muscle fibers to engage. Keep your feet together. Place your top hand flat on your hip, not to hold it still, but to feel it. You want to notice the moment your pelvis starts to rotate. That's your stopping point. From here, slowly lift your top knee as high as you can without your hips rotating backward. Pause for a full 2 seconds at the top. Lower slowly. Aim for 10 to 12 repetitions per side. Why the pillow changes everything. In a standard clamshell lying flat, the muscle engagement decreases as gravity pulls the leg down. The elevated position keeps consistent tension throughout the movement, which is exactly how muscle is rebuilt. It's a small change that produces a noticeably different sensation in the right place. Exercise 2, standing hip circle, slow and controlled. Here's the one I promised you, the one most people over 50 have never tried. Stand beside a wall for light support. Shift your weight onto one leg. Now, with your free leg, begin drawing a slow, deliberate circle in the air. Forward, out to the side, back behind you, and back to center. One full rotation in about 4 to 5 seconds. Do 5 circles forward, then reverse. 5 circles backward. Switch legs. That's your set. Why this works so well? Traditional exercises train the gluteus medius in one direction, side to side. But real life doesn't move in one direction. When you walk, climb stairs, step over something, or recover from a stumble, your hip has to respond in multiple planes simultaneously. This exercise trains exactly that. The gluteus medius itself has 3 distinct fiber segments: anterior, middle, and posterior, each recruited differently depending on the direction of movement, as confirmed by electromyography research. Training the hip in a full circular pattern ensures all 3 segments get engaged, rather than leaving any fiber group undertrained. Greater total fiber recruitment means more complete strengthening and more visible functional results over time. The key: keep the circles small and controlled. Bigger is not better here. You want quality of movement, not dramatic range. If you feel the outer side of your standing hip working hard to keep you upright, that's exactly right. That hip is doing just as much work as the one drawing the circle. If you're still watching and this helps, type number 2 in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Your support keeps us going. Exercise 1, side lying hip stack with pulse. This is our anchor movement. the one you'll feel most specifically in the area we're trying to develop. Lie on your side with your body in one straight line, shoulders, hips, and feet all aligned. You can bend your bottom knee slightly for stability. Rest your head comfortably on your arm. Now, here's what's different about this version. Before you lift your top leg, tilt your pelvis very slightly forward, just a tiny anterior tilt. This small adjustment takes the lower back out of the equation entirely and directs nearly all the effort into the gluteus medius. Lift your top leg to about hip height, no higher. Then, instead of simply holding or lowering, perform small controlled pulses upward. 10 pulses. Then lower the leg slowly with full control. Aim for 3 sets of 10 pulses per side. Why the pulse matters. Holding a position builds endurance but not necessarily size and strength. Pulsing keeps constant tension on the muscle fiber without allowing it to rest, which is the exact mechanism needed to rebuild the outer hip shape over time. This technique is commonly used in physical therapy specifically because it's low impact but highly targeted. What you should feel: a deep, focused burn on the outer side of the hip that's working. Not your lower back, not your inner thigh. If you're feeling it in the wrong place, recheck that anterior pelvic tilt and reduce the height of your lift. Now here's how to put it all together without overwhelming your body. Weeks 1 and 2. Start with exercises 5, 4, and 3. 2 sets each. Take your time. Focus completely on feeling the right muscles engage before worrying about the number of repetitions. Rest for at least 1 full day between sessions. Week 3. Add exercise 2, the hip circle. Your body will start to feel more coordinated now, and this movement will challenge your balance in a productive way. You can increase to 3 sets of the earlier exercises if they feel comfortable. Week 4 and beyond. Incorporate exercise 1, the sideline pulse, as your finishing movement each session. This is where everything comes together: strength, stability, and targeted reshaping all in one exercise. Aim for 3 sessions per week, not every day. Rest is when your muscles actually rebuild, not during the exercise itself. And remember, progressive consistency always beats occasional intensity. Here's what I want to leave you with today. Your body after 50 is not a declining system. It's an adapting one. And adaptation requires the right input, the right movement done consistently with patience and intention. The hip dip you see in the mirror isn't a verdict. It's a starting point. 4 weeks from now, I want you to come back to this video and tell me 2 things: how your hips look, and more importantly, how your body feels. Do you feel more steady when you walk? More confident on the stairs? Stronger when you stand up from a chair? That's the real result. That's what we're working toward. If you're starting today, type day 1 in the comments, because every person who started and succeeded started exactly where you are right now. And if this video gave you something valuable, share it with someone who needs it. Because strong hips don't just change how you look in the mirror. They change how freely you move through your life. I'll see you in the next one.